From the outside, Hollywood has always embodied the glamour of the golden era, drawing us in with classic films and mesmerizing cinema that seem to promise eternal fame. Even when a gifted actor could reshape the face of movies with a single breakout role, the reality behind the bright lights was often far darker. The glittering world of film could not always hide the pressures and heartbreak that some stars endured. In a place where glamour reigned supreme, vulnerabilities were often concealed behind radiant smiles and perfectly choreographed red carpets. Some soared to unimaginable heights, while others struggled in silence, overshadowed by personal battles and relentless expectations. As we explore these stories, we discover their private battles, their struggles to stay in favor, and the hidden toll of dreams pursued under the glare of unrelenting attention. In the earliest days of Hollywood, the silent screen promised dazzling fame to those who dared to dream. Audiences flocked to theaters, captivated by flickering images of bright-eyed performers who seemed larger than life. Yet behind those pioneering smiles lay immense pressure, and for a few, heartbreak that would cut their stories short. One such figure was Peg Entwistle, a promising stage actress who believed Tinseltown could transform her theatrical acclaim into cinematic stardom. Peg dazzled Broadway in shows like The Uninvited Guest, but Hollywood's demanding new environment took a toll. On September 16, 1932, personal turmoil overwhelmed her, and she jumped from the top of the Hollywood sign. Peg was just 24, leaving behind an eerie cautionary tale forever linked to that towering landmark of American show business. Florence Lawrence hailed as the world's first publicly credited movie star. Having racked up more than 250 film appearances, she helped shape modern stardom at a time when actors were often nameless on screen. Despite her early success, mounting financial woes and health concerns weighed her down. In 1938, she ingested a fatal substance. The impact of her loss reverberated through an industry still learning to protect its pioneers from the loneliness that often accompanies fame. Around the same time, Lillian Hall Davis captivated Britain as a silent-era luminary, most notably in Alfred Hitchcock hits like The Farmer's Wife and Champagne. Her expressive performances drew applause, but when talking pictures arrived, Lillian struggled to adapt. The sudden shift, combined with private hardships, led her to take her own life via gas inhalation in 1933. She was only 35, a stark reminder of how quickly changing technology could devastate even the brightest stars. These early tragedies signaled that the glitz of Hollywood's silent era came with hidden costs. It was an era of boundless possibility, yet for some it also revealed how swiftly dreams could collapse under pressure. In the next chapter, we'll see how even as movies began talking, the heartbreak behind the scenes never truly fell silent. During Hollywood's so-called golden era, silver screens glowed with promise, and beloved faces enchanted viewers worldwide. Yet behind those radiant images lay personal dilemmas that fame alone couldn't erase. Some of the brightest names from this period remain eternal icons, but their hidden struggles remind us that celebrity status rarely guarantees peace. Among them was Lupe Velez, nicknamed the Mexican Spitfire. Her rapid-fire wit and sizzling presence lit up comedic hits like Mexican Spitfire and The Girl from Mexico. Fans saw her as lively and unstoppable, but whispers of private distress haunted her final days. On a fateful December night in 1944, Lupe OD'd, shocking the industry and leaving admirers to mourn a spirit that burned brilliantly yet briefly. Not all tragedies happened to the decade's biggest names. Ona Munson, best remembered as Belle Watling in Gone with the Wind, brought a layered depth to every scene she commanded. Despite her refined poise, Ona also wrestled with unseen turmoil. A bottle of sleeping pills ended her life in 1955, leaving behind stunned colleagues who never suspected how much pain she carried beneath her polished exterior. Then there was Carol Landis, a glamorous star of the 1940s who earned admiration for roles in 1 Million BC and her tireless efforts to entertain troops during World War II. Behind her iconic smile, Carol grappled with personal heartbreak that overshadowed her blossoming career. In July 1948, she took her final bow, ODing at just 29 years old and reminding everyone that even the brightest stars can be eclipsed by inner battles. Meanwhile, the stage performer Faith Bacon dazzled crowds during the 1920s and 30s with her legendary fan dances. Renowned for blending elegance and daring artistry, she pioneered a performance style that remains influential. Yet as her career waned, so did her hope. In 1956, Faith chose to jump from a hotel window, highlighting the crushing reality that fame can vanish as swiftly as it appears. The golden era shone brightly on the surface, but these harrowing stories reveal a harsher truth. Success could mask heartbreak, and the public seldom saw how desperately some stars fought to stay afloat. While audiences applauded, private battles raged on. In the next chapter, we'll see that the post-war years brought no end to these hidden woes, and for some, the dream of Hollywood continued to slip away just as swiftly. After World War II, Hollywood's appeal surged, and new faces flocked to the studios in search of stardom. For a few, that glamorous dream shattered as personal pressures and volatile industry demands converged, showing that even in a booming post-war era, heartbreak lurked just beneath the surface. Italian actress Pier Angeli embodied cinematic grace in films like The Silver Chalice and Somebody Up There Likes Me. Despite her critical acclaim and fan adoration, heartbreak and emotional turbulence trailed her throughout her life. In 1971, at 39, Pier ended her life by overdosing on barbiturates, leaving behind a legacy tarnished by loss and unfinished potential. Meanwhile, Bella Darvey emerged as a polished beauty discovered by Hollywood power couple Darryl F. Zanuck and his wife, Virginia. She glowed on screen in titles like The Egyptian, yet her personal life unraveled under financial strains and romantic turmoil. On September 11, 1971, Bella inhaled gas at her home in Monte Carlo, marking another sudden end to a once promising star. Broadway darling Libby Holman dazzled audiences with her haunting voice and magnetic stage presence. Yet behind her successes lay immense emotional burdens. Years of personal turmoil eventually consumed her, leading her to off herself through carbon monoxide poisoning in 1971. Though her name still evokes the glamour of Broadway's heyday, her final act underscores the quiet despair that fame itself cannot mend. Sue Hamilton seemed poised for a brilliant career. Young, beautiful, and radiating natural charm, she caught attention both in modeling and her limited screen appearances. Tragically, her promise remained unfulfilled. In 1969, at only 23 years old, Sue took her own life by overdosing on prescription medication, a stark reminder that youthful optimism can be swallowed by the relentless expectations of fame. These stories reveal that post-war optimism did not spare every dreamer from deep personal hardship. As Hollywood boomed, the pressure to sparkle on cue became a crushing burden for some, proving that the struggle between public adoration and private sorrow often lingers, regardless of era. By the swinging 1960s and into the tumultuous 1970s, Hollywood's glamorous veneer seemed brighter than ever. Yet for many actors, the pressures surrounding fame and personal expectations deepened. Controversies could spark careers just as easily as they could end them, and for those grappling with hidden anguish, the glitz provided little consolation. One case was Patricia Cutts, a skilled British performer who shone in both film and television, appearing in The Men of Sherwood Forest and the series Coronation Street. Despite that outward success, personal issues and mental health struggles weighed heavily on her. In 1974, she overdosed on sleeping pills, leaving behind a shaken industry that mourned the loss of an actress who had so much left to offer. Meanwhile, Lee Tobler captured attention with her captivating stage presence and deeper influence as a muse to famed surrealist painter H.R. Giger. Lee's creativity and magnetic personality resonated in artistic circles, but beneath her enigmatic poise, she wrestled with depression. In 1975, she ended her life using a firearm, an abrupt and heartbreaking exit that illustrated how inner turmoil can persist despite external acclaim. Then there was Jean Seberg, a mesmerizing screen presence and icon of the French New Wave, thanks to unforgettable roles in classics like Breathless. Political persecution, relentless media scrutiny, and personal losses converged into a storm she couldn't escape. In 1979, Jean took her own life with a barbiturate overdose in Paris, a stunning reminder that even global admiration can't eclipse profound despair. Another story of promise and heartbreak was Maggie McNamara, who soared early in her career, earning an Oscar nomination for The Moon is Blue. But as decades passed, the lure of Hollywood waned, and Maggie faced mental health and financial difficulties. In 1978, she overdosed on barbiturates, a tragic ending that underscored the devastating toll an unforgiving industry can take on vulnerable spirits. These sobering accounts show that for all the vibrancy of the era, many stars existed in a precarious balance between public adoration and private agony. As the decades shifted, the stories of heartache would only continue, urging us to look beyond the studio lights for the realities that haunted those poised at the pinnacle of fame.